Well, today I'm in the formal part of the garden. There's another bench there for sitting and reading. Lovely, lovely lawned area. And there's a passage through the woods to the farm next door. And here we have, ta-da, a croquet lawn. Now, if Malcolm had anything about him, we'd have a croquet lawn at Eggleston, but there you go. Absolutely beautiful. And there's the lovely old house, as you can see. I'm just going to show you something here because yesterday pest control arrived and I think there's been a bit of a to-do with some moles because you can see here, and I actually watched the pest control people doing it, they've put some snares in. I don't know what the white sticks are for. I mean, moles are blind, but that'd be ridiculous. But there they are. Now, Malcolm was always saying I'm posh, and I suppose I always refute that, but it depends who's saying it and where they're standing. And to be fair, it would be a rare occasion that found me fossicking in my trousers casually whilst chatting to a customer, or even forgetting to do up perhaps the more important zip fasteners in said trousers. So maybe I am posh, but actually I don't know how posh you would have to be not to appreciate the absolute trauma of waking up to find molehills in your croquet lawn.
The Royal Horticultural Society have said we are in crisis. The industry is lacking youngsters coming through. This is Eggleston Hall Gardens, and over the next 12 months we're going to take you on a journey of what it's like to run a nursery garden. The heather is out. That dog is in his element. And it's a beautiful day. Hello, it's week 34 and Thomas is going to introduce you to a lovely plant. I'm doing me Amanda bit.
All right.
Just, I want to sound posh like she does.
Isn't it lovely? Yes. Look at that. Yes.
You know,
It's Carry On Amanda. Oh, isn't that lovely?
go on then.
No, but in all seriousness, it's stunning, isn't it, this flower?
It is, it is.
Eucryphia glutinosa, this one. It's one of the deciduous ones. And we have another one, I don't think it's in flower yet, called Nine Mancy that is evergreen. But it is a beautiful thing. Really rarely seen, rarely offered, and I can't for the life of me understand why it's so scarcely seen, because the flowers are exquisite.
That's an Amanda word.
It is, isn't it?
Look, it's got little balls in the stamens. They're like fibre optics, aren't they?
Yeah.
It is the most beautiful flower.
Bees, well, primarily like bees absolutely love it. And all the pollinators, all the insects. It is. It's a decent sized thing. It's on that realm of being small tree, large shrub, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
You need to have, but I mean, why? If you had it, why wouldn't you give it the space?
No.
Because you can see this one, it's a bit lopsided because of this in viburnum.
Well, the reason was I actually filmed some stuff of how I cut this back last year, and now look at it. We'll
That Famiciparus, I never knew it was a golden one until their stuff was cut back around it. It was always deep green, but it's just because it got missed. sun.
I sort of prune that in such a way as to make it sort of cloud-like. I'm hoping it's going to grow in and look like something mature on a windswept landscape.
Otherwise we'll take it off at 3 inches.
Close pruning. As I've said before, it's a sort of, seems to be a sort of early autumn this year. The veratrums, if you remember them earlier in the year, with the pleated leaves, they're starting to go over now. This is Veratrum album. The flower spike is a sort of an off-white colour. Now, Veratrum nigrum is different. The leaf is exactly the same, and the flower spike is black. Now the leaf is very interesting, but the flower to me, well, just looks like it has the same substance as a sort of sweet corn flower, which I'm about to show you. The early time of the year when we were short-staffed because of furlough, it's catching up with us now. It's like a ripple effect down the line, and we can't get on top of the weeding because of the amount of nursery work we've had to do, which we missed out in the spring. Hopefully in the winter, oh, this is sweet corn by the way, hopefully in the winter we will be able to make up the lost ground and it'll all come back together again. The problem we have, of course, is, as with everything, we just don't, it's just hard to concentrate fully because of the uncertainty. You don't know how the next 6-9 months is going to pan out. That's a very posh expression, isn't it? It's a very modern expression, pan out. I don't actually know what it means. I suppose panning for gold, you can... God, I don't know. I don't know why these things come into my head. The crocosmias are growing nicely. Flowering at least, anyway. We are due, tomorrow, we are due a major storm. Not major as in how you get them in America or other countries, but for us 70-mile-an-hour winds is quite a lot. The sweet peas have been fantastic. They're starting to come to an end now. We keep picking them. We've had 2 or 3 bunches a week, I would say. So I've been able to gather lots of brownie points. They've been fine. One of the plants that I really like, it's great if you want to simulate Mediterranean gardens, but you don't want to grow the upright junipers and things, you know, that are so popular on the Mediterranean. They're very, very thin. This is a normal Christmas tree, Abies, Picea Abies. You can see it's just like a normal thing, but it does have this. You've seen this before, but I'll show it to you again. And it just goes up and up in a column. There. I would say it's nearly 20 foot now. There. I think they're really nice. And they don't get the burn or the pull out where some of the sorry, Cupressus strictus I think it is. I'll have to put a caption on it. I've forgotten the name of it now that people are keen on, but it's burn, it snow or wind pulls it out and it pulls out. You can of course just bind it with a bit of hose or a bit of wire, as long as it's not too tight. But you can keep them as they get taller. They don't do that as much. It's a fantastic thing. Real statement plant. This is a prime example of sort of blowout or snow and wind damage. This is a big yew, and I meant to cut it back, but again, because of furlough, we never got the chance. But this winter we will have to attack this and really reduce it. The wind and snow and all these sort of things, they just pull it out and it all falls apart. I showed you these troughs in the stream last week. Now, yeah, my old partner, he used to have 3 Jack Russells like me. One of the reasons we have Jack Russells is because they're such fantastic little ratters and rabbiters, and they help keep the vermin down. It's just what we have to do. But anyway, he had one called Lucy, and she used to love these troughs. She would take, if you took a stone like this and just threw it in the water, she would go down right to the bottom, pick it up, come out and drop it by your feet. Fantastic. It's a wonderful party trick. So you throw it in again, and she'd go in again, pick out the stone, bring it to your feet. After about 20 times, this would get a bit monotonous, but she would just bring it out each time, drop it and look at you, willing you to throw it in, and she would really literally do this all day long. One thing I've learned about Jack Russells is that they do have this sort of obsessive behaviour. I have them that if they see like a patch on a wall or something strange, they will sit and look at it for hours, willing it to move. They are a real they're a characterful dog, but they do have some funny little traits. Would never be without them though. Lucy, she was a wonderful little dog. If you pulled her tail, she'd bite you. Something we have a lot of on the nursery, and we find uses for them, are these stones. Well, slabs. This one we use for the drain tap, that if we drain the system out into the stream at the end of the year so that we don't have water in it. Yeah, the blue hose is where the runoff comes out. That there is a drainage, part of a French drain. Yeah, and we just use them for covering up taps or covering up drains and things. There's several of them around the gardens, and I've never actually really knew what they were for. They probably were drain covers. They're just very old ones. It's nice to see these sort of things, and you think about all the old gardeners that have gone before. When I first came here, or just about 25 years ago, we had a different team then, Gordon and myself and some of the others. I'll tell you what, here's a picture. Gordon and I are on either end of that photograph. As I get to the end of my time here, it's sort of becoming a regular thing to look back at how we turned it from one thing into another, and what it is, what the nursery is today. And everybody that's worked for us has contributed a bit towards this. It's amazing really how things change and people come and go, and then all of a sudden, in the snap of a finger, you just it's all gone. You know, you're looking back and you're disappearing like the others, just not fading away quite. When the heather is out, as you've seen up on the moors, we get a lot of visitors to Teesdale and the Yorkshire Dales, which we're sort of in the middle of, and we're constantly asked for heathers if we've got any. So people ring up or they email, do you have heather, do you have heather? And then when we get them, they never sell. So we thought we'd give it another go this year, and from another nursery we bought in some heathers and different Erica calendula type, just a selection. I'm not really I don't really know much about them. We've had them a week and I think we've sold about 6 out of a couple of hundred. We'll wait and see. I've never really taken to them. Not even when I was younger. There are some very nice gentians. And that's a cabbage white. Yeah. Little bastard. And there are some cyclamens. Yeah, some heathies. And the Senecio angel wings. This is really popular. Yeah, but I think you'll find it everywhere at the moment. Somebody told me that they go to garden centres at the moment. I mean, you know, I've said before, we're not a garden centre. But, and they're saying the plant sections are really, really quiet. We've found just the opposite. So I don't know what's going on this year.
Right, more nibs.
More nibs.
More nibs. Now this plant, as you can see, it's been pot bound for a few years. It's Lisa's brought it in from Wrong Garden, and it's even got the old label in actually. It's Cirsium Reala Atropurpureum. It's a nice form of like ornamental thistle. But I mean, people might get a bit snotty when I say that, but it really is quite a beautiful thing. Brilliant. The bees absolutely love it, and it gives you such a long flowering period because normally flowers early on and then again, and it's just super easy to grow. It's very little looking after, but this one, you can see there, it's had all these fat roots coming out the bottom of the pot. It's just rooted itself into the ground. So it's going to be interesting for splitting it off, but all I want to do is just look for sort of an in somewhere to first put the knife. Split down the middle of the clump and see how it parts there.
I would say that was pot bound.
Ah, whatever, so slightly, isn't it? As it was together, you could like clobber a small child with that.
Yeah.
Alright.
Good idea. Never liked children. Yeah.
And then, see these bits sitting off the back here?
I hope people realise that was a joke. I wouldn't really clobber a small child with that. Nor would you, would you?
No. It's not to say you don't dislike children, though, is it really?
No.
And there we go. Yeah, you can see it's just old and corky. You can see that stuff is not really any good for this plant when they get like that. Because really, all that's supporting these is the roots that are coming off here. It's feeding off the mother plant, but these little plants are sort of venturing off on their own. So
trying to find new ground, aren't they? They're
Yeah.
searching for new ground.
They're just wanting to root themselves. There we go. And I could separate them two off further, but I probably won't. I'll just keep them together because we're getting a bit late now. We're almost into September. I mean, we can still carry on doing these. You just never know how the weather's going to turn when you get to this sort of time of year. We prefer doing these as early as possible, really, sort of June, July time. But these, I mean, this plant, it should still be fine, really, doing them now. And there's another couple of bits there, probably. Oh, I just want to split that one somewhere. Get rid of that old stem. Somewhere down there.
Something wet just went down the back of my neck. I don't know what that was. A bloody swallow.
Well, it wouldn't have been flying above you there, would it? Away from the doorway.
Well, it might have let go in flight. Like one of them dam buster bombs. Something's gone down the back of my neck. Come on, carry on. I'll sort it out in a minute.
There we go, and there's another little bit. And it'll break some of that old stuff off. And then that's it, there's a couple of nibs there.
Yeah.
And it's just like that.
No more to it than that. It's getting late. Do you want me to finish these off tomorrow?
No, it's alright. You can see actually, there was one there that had come out the hole of the bottom of the pot. You can see it's sort of gone upside down. I'm half tempted to just stick that in the pot and see what happens too.
It's that swallow. It's just,
Why would it if you were sat well away from the door? They only fly out under the door.
it's come through that door and it's let go. Something's gone right down the back of my neck.
No, right. That's that camera. Right. You were sat there. The doorway's there.
Right, if he
How
flew
the
through
hell
let go.
is that?
You never seen them bouncing bombs?
Yeah, but you're talking about a swallow shite.
Well,
It's not a bouncing
gone
bomb.
Right down. Go on, choose the bloody camera and finish off. Go on, you're going to pop one up.
I can do. I think I sip it in.
Yeah, people like to see. Somebody said they like to see you potting it up, the completed thing. I wonder how many you'll get out of that. Good dozen, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't and a half.
yeah. Thank you, Thomas.
Okay. You pissing off to get a new kettle in the muck break.
Yeah. I'm taking Lisa out tonight to McDonald's. Hey, people say, oh, that's not very good. That's where she likes going. And she's got a new kettle to buy, so...
Lisa's a person of simple taste.
Yeah.
Just look at her husband.
Yeah, cheeky bastard.
There's the door through to the kitchen garden, and we're just out in a sort of orchard area here. And in this area, there's a tiny little thatched studio or house or something. But in it, the gentleman of the house makes violins. I mean, how good. He actually makes violins and repairs other people's violins. And it's actually full. If I just peep through the windows here, look at all the chisels and bits of tools and things there. It's so refined here. When I think what Malcolm gets up to with his tools in the shed, well, that's another video. I think the only thing left to introduce you to here is the chickens. I think it'd be good to have chickens at Eggleston. They're so sweet and the eggs are amazing. We could have them fenced in, like they are here. They're fenced in against foxes here. But up at Eggleston, we could fence them in so that Pepper and Finn and Tucker, who are, let's face it, always hungry, don't pester them. Look at that, isn't that lovely? I really have no idea what some of these chickens are. Look at this one. How bizarre is that? I'll probably find he's the most expensive chicken of the lot. But he doesn't look quite normal, does he? There's a couple like that. They've all got lockdown haircuts. There's another one. But they all live in this little enclosure here and then wander about during the day. And we have their eggs for breakfast every morning. It's lovely. Well, it's our last evening today, so I'm going to walk past these coal frames and I'm just going to show you into another area of the garden, which again is beautiful. This has got in it raised beds. Come on, can you hear that again? Raised beds with strawberries, fruit and other herbs here, and also loads of herbs and things growing in those cold frames over there. They've also got a modern greenhouse here, which is round full of tomatoes. Actually, it's so hot down here, you don't need a greenhouse. It's absolutely gorgeous. Look at this lot. I just filled my pockets on the way out. The other thing they've got here is this wonderful field at the back. Now this is where the barn owl comes to hunt every evening. It quarters across, flying low, hunting for little shrews and rabbits and stuff to feed its young. I mean, I'm saying that as if I've actually seen the barn owl, which I haven't. I have stood here over the years, many a long evening, as Malcolm might say, like a fanny. Not a whisker, not a feather. I mean, everyone else has seen it. Everyone. The visitor's book is full of things like wonderful sighting of the barn owl last night. What a joy to see the barn owl last night. What a marvellous performance set to Ravel's Bolero, performed by the barn owl last night. With a flock of woodpeckers, I'm not bitter. I will be back this evening. Here's just one last look at the cold frames full of tomatoes. And the new greenhouse packed full of tomatoes. And if you look over there, just peeping up above the wall in the distance there, those windows, that's the servant quarters where I'm staying. It's been an absolutely gorgeous holiday, but I've missed my little friends up at Eggleston, and even though I'm sorry this is over, I'm really looking forward to seeing the gardens again.
Now, in her wisdom, Lisa has ordered some pallets of pots. She said they were quite a little bit larger, but they're enormous. We haven't yet worked out how to get it off the top of the pallet.
I think Lisa must have got inches and centimetres mixed up.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
You beat me to that pun there. I was going to say that's maybe benefited you in your marriage, but not now.
Do you want the whole 8 centimetres?
Oh, just the man. Jesus Christ.
Any ideas, John?
Any ideas?
Just to let you know, there's more underneath that as well. They're in sets.
What, that's how to get it off?
Yeah. Right. A few weeks back, we cut back the old stems from these, if you remember. I can't remember which video it was, but at the beginning I was sat up the top of the garden cutting these back. It's about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I think. Since then, we've taken the old stem away. They have grown nicely. They've I sound like you.
Great. They've really grown away nicely.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're doing well, but we need to move them up. They're a lovely plant. They're a hybrid Lysimachia.
I was going to say, you haven't said its name yet.
It's called Lysimachia candela, but I think it's a hybrid of Ephemerum and Clethroides, probably. But that's just a thought. That's the Chinese loosestrifes, they're sometimes known as. They were brought into this country in the 1700s. I don't know when, but it was a fucking long time ago. And
you'd have been a wee boy then, wouldn't you?
yeah, I'd have been a little lad. But they're lovely, and we're just moving them up and potting them on because we have one in the garden that's in flower, and there is nothing like a plant in flower to sell it. I could have a pot of plants, and I'm always telling people this, I could put out a tray of plants, 20 of them, 19 really good things like this, and one shitty one in the corner with a single flower on, and it's the one with the flower on that will sell first. It's just a weird thing. I've never understood it. But there you are.
That's what the excuse I'll use in future then for my failure with women. I'm not the shitty one with the flower on. I'm the healthy looking one.
You are.
I'm the healthy looking one. I need to bloom.
You do. Yeah. Yeah. Well, although I thought you were enjoying a healthy sex life, I thought you just needed somebody else to join in with you. We are still potting up, or I am still potting up these Lysimachia. I have quite a lot of them. The gales have turned out to be something of a damp squib. They are, they were neither serious or damaging, which is good really. But I was all geared up for the gales and they never sort of arrived. The Lysimachia we're just putting into, as you saw, we're putting into 2 litre pots. You can turn them straight around, and I'm just potting up these with into the pots they come out of, these little eryngiums. So it's a quick turnaround. Get them out of the 1 litres, put them into 2s, use the 1 litres for the eryngiums. And the eryngiums come out of 9 centimetres. And we'll do a quick turnaround on those because we'll put Clara's osteospermum cuttings that are rooted into those. Efficiency. I like efficiency. Just looking at the osteospermum cuttings that Clara done. These are just in grit and perlite. I can't remember what week she did these. It was the 14th of the 7th, so about 5 weeks ago. They're all beautiful little roots on them. And we'll just put these into little round pots now. And they'll sit over the winter. Osteospermum's a really good plant. This is a perennial one called Wisley Pink, but it's excellent if you've got a rabbit problem because the rabbits will not touch them. Now, my old man, he's got one of these fancy like alpine lodges on this like park home thing, and I gave him one of these some years ago, and now he's flogging them off to all the other people in the other places because they had a rabbit problem. And the whole of this place now is this sort of like park with all these like alpine lodges. They're all covered with these osteospermums everywhere. And being my old man, he's getting a few bob for each one. The swallows fledged a few weeks back. We hadn't realised, we thought they were just coming in to revisit their nest. But I don't know if you can see, but up in that corner by the main beam, they're having another lot.
Oh, you're filming already.
I am.
Are you at my best side?
Well, I'm at a side. Sometimes some people don't have sides.
No, there's no
Yeah.
sides really, I think.
There's no sides on a football, is there?
There's an inside and an outside.
Good then, is it nice to be back?
Yeah, it's lovely to be back. I've missed everybody, even you, Malcolm.
Good.
And it is nice to be back. It's not as posh up here. There are things that I would change, but yeah, it's lovely to be back.
Right.
With the hoi polloi.
Oh yeah, you know. What is fossicking?
Fossicking.
Fossicking, yeah. What is fossicking? I don't know what fossicking
It's
is.
like it's like having a good route around.
Right.
So if you were looking in a bag, or in your case your trousers, it'd be like having a good route around to see what might be in there. And it's a little habit you have, isn't it?
I don't know. I wasn't aware of it.
It's completely innocent. It's just,
I'm fossicking now.
yeah, well, yes.
I think it's that dress you're wearing. It's making me fossick. I'm going for a quick fossick.
You see, you've You've made an innocent remark vulgar, haven't you?
It wasn't very innocent.
No, it's like you're always a bit surprised by what might be down there. And that's quite unnerving for people who are chatting to you at the time.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm aware of that now.
Well, that might be a good thing.
Well, nobody's ever mentioned it before.
No, because maybe they've just felt that it wasn't appropriate. But I feel now, after 5 years, that I know you well enough to point out
Right.
some of your trouser habits.
I'm aware of the flies.
The flies. We don't mean flies as in that need
No,
spotting.
I mean the fly holes, you know.
Yeah.
I'm aware of them.
That's probably one of your key areas of neglect, I would say.
Right.
There is a bit of an issue around recall.
Well,
and fastness.
yeah. Well, forget.
Yeah.
And sometimes people, you know, the bell rings, or the other day I was having just round the back of a bush there.
Yes.
And
that's
I hadn't
something else
really-
we need to pick up.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that either. And anyway, then these people came around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What customers they would be?
Customers,
They
yeah.
would be, yes, people who are invited to be
Yeah.
in here.
I had to pretend I was pruning the bush.
We could have been watering the plants, I suppose. There's a number of things you could have been doing. Yeah, again, well, where I was on holiday, outside loos. I mean, I
Outside
know
loos.
we have them here, but
Well, we
they,
do, we have
you know,
one.
yeah, but they're not really used regularly, are they?
Well, I don't use it.
No, no.
So my old head gardener, you know, used to do the old story of him when they had an outside loo. I've told the story loads of times. And his name was Alf. And they used to, these Women's Institute came out. There was no lock on it. It was a double-seater, an old Elson. Have you heard of
A
an
double
Elson?
seater?
2 seats,
Was
side
he
by
go
side.
with a friend?
Yeah, you could, if you wanted to.
What's that?
But
Pre-COVID?
he became very famous because he had a pub, you see.
Yeah.
And they used to come round, and this WI group came out one day, and he said, Mr. Angham, there's no lock on your toilet door. And Alf said, yeah. 42 years I've been here, missus, and nobody's pinched that bucket of shit yet.
Oh dear.
And that story, I think, is still on the pub wall. He was notorious for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Well,
didn't.
wrote the
He didn't
story
like
on the
customers.
wall.
No, the newspaper printed it up and put it on the wall.
Ah, he didn't like customers.
No, he
either.
didn't like customers. He just used to give them if they wanted a toilet, he just used to give them a spade. Or tell them there was 28 acres of it round.
See, those were the days, weren't
They were. You can't get away with that now. You go to prison.
Yeah. I'm not sure you can be put away for that, but it could frighten the
I think you could
customers.
get put away for fossicking in your trousers.
Well, maybe there's a lesson there, Malcolm.
Yeah, I think there is.
Maybe there's something to have a little think about
Yeah.
next time you're inclined
Right.
in that direction.
I'm bored of this now. I'm going off for a
Yeah.
fossick. We have a reasonably good crop of fruit this year. The trees are absolutely amazing. I think I've said before that we don't have dwarfing trees here. They are just semi-dwarfing, normally grow about 15 feet, but we summer prune them, so that keeps them of a reasonable size, because I really do feel that you get better quality fruit on a nice decent sized tree stock. This is Keswick codlin. It's a ribbed sort of apple, like a bit like a cat's head, called a cat's head because if you look at it, it's well, like a cat's head. But it is nice. It cooks, if you boil it, it cooks in about 2 minutes flat. It just cooks to a real froth. Next to it is Lord Derby, which I like as a cooker more than Bramley, because well, it just isn't a biennial bearer, or it's not a triploid either like Bramley. The Bramley apple is fine, and everybody comes in and asks for a Victoria plum or a Bramley apple, usually because it's the only two varieties they know. I don't trust you stood there with that bloody apple in your hand.
Time for a nib up day.
A nib up there.
Nib up day.
Go on
So,
then.
see under here, things have been really enjoying themselves. Now,
God, look at that in there.
but it is important to not forget about your nib maintenance. So,
Explain about midnight nib maintenance then.
when we're growing this stuff on for next year, we don't want any flowers at all. We're not bothered about it, we're just bothered about what's underneath the surface. So anything that does come into flower, we're just going to take it off. Because the plant's putting all its energy into the flowers at this point rather than the roots. Well, not all its energy, but most of its energy. So we just want anything that is under the surface here. As you can see with that little ranunculus, little roots there. Yeah.
They weren't done that long ago, were they?
22nd of the 7th.
Right.
That's not long ago, is it? And then, even though things like these are the Helianthus, Lemon Queen, whilst it looks like they've done nothing. Now I don't want to look like a tit. Ah, there we go.
Yeah, there is.
See?
I was
There's
really hoping there would be no roots there and you would look like a tit.
And I'm going to pretend that I didn't check it earlier to make sure I didn't.
Go on.
And it's also important with the nibs about weaning them, because we don't want to keep these under the cloth, because I've got more to bring up here. So things such as these Pulmonium and these Nepeta, these are about ready to come out now, and especially with the weather we're going to get this weekend, it's going to be wet and these are going to cope. And although actually these Pulmonium would quite likely pot, because, yeah, look at that.
Is that Lambrook mauve?
Lambrook mauve. I'm just not too fussed.
They are really good nibs them, aren't
Mm-hmm.
they are like expert nibs them.
Yeah, just because they're yours. Yeah, but you did them weeks before mine. You started in bloody June. Mine are all July.
That's not my
But
fault.
and what we'll do, because we're not bothered about what there is, put them back. Just puts less stress on the plant, because I keep reiterating, we're just bothered about what these do next year. So, well, you can't say that's a good nib, can you? That's a very substandard nib if you do
I
say
think
so
that's one
yourself.
bar of
Alright, that's it. The nib branches. So just go through,
it. Be careful.
cut.
Be careful. Be careful. You probably wouldn't miss it.
Yeah, I'm not like Lisa, cutting around every 5 minutes with the new sharp secateurs.
Yeah.
And these, that Nepeta Blue Dragon as well. Same thing. I mean, these would probably flower, but
Don't want them.
we're just not bothered. We just want these to be hellish plants next year instead.
But you do
That
get a
is all
better
we
quality
want.
plant.
Yeah. And
And that's
Like I
important,
said.
because if you've got to compete with the garden centres, you want to have good quality plants.
And then, like I said, with regards weaning, all I do is go through. You see, they've got root there, but I don't think that's particularly, that's not really enough for me to be bringing things like that out. But if I come up here and look at these Veronica gentianoides, they're definitely going to have enough to, yeah. You see, I'll probably come up here, because we've got more stuff to go in under here, start bringing things like these Veronica gentianoides out, the rest of the Nepeta. Because as you can see, we've already started to fill this top end in again with fresh stuff.
Oh, is that fresh stuff?
Yeah, the Crocosmias are fresh. But then we get down
What about
about here.
those
I think
bloody
we
old
updated.
Diasia things?
Yeah. I think I showed people when I was pricking these cuttings out. Look at them. Look at them. See, these are the sort of thing, they're that vigorous. These would be at the point whether we keep them to let them flower or not. I'd be half tempted, to be honest, to just cut these back and leave them, but they're so quick. Look at that, the roots on that. I mean, those cuttings were done in the 5th of June.
Diasia personata, isn't it?
Personata. Yeah.
Personata.
So the cuttings were struck on the 5th of June and they've since been separated and potted up. And here, now some of this stuff when we last looked up hadn't woken up. And the campanulas are starting to. These are the Campanula lactiflora. These are just our own hybrids in like blue, pink and white. Won't up, oh yeah, they've even started rooting. Yeah. Because it's something, they don't cease to amaze me really, them campanulas, because I really do, I just rip them apart. There's absolutely no technique or skill involved.
Don't tell
Really
me
not.
that. Don't say that to people. Tell me that Diasia personata, would you have it in your garden? Do you actually like it?
The flower's lovely, and it really does last a long time.
Yeah, but it's a straggly.
Yeah, but that's why you grow it through stuff.
Yeah.
It's one of those plants, it's not in your face, it's just subtle. It is there. You plant, grow it through something, and I bet
It's
it
not
looks
in your
lovely.
face because the bug is lying on the ground after you. Flat.
You're really
It's
selling it,
straggly.
aren't you? I can't think
Yeah,
what else I
no,
throw people.
it's a lovely thing.
Oh, yeah.
Blooms all year.
And then here, the apple mint.
Is that those you did earlier?
Yeah, 10th of July they were done on.
Have
We're
they
in the
got much fruit
20th
on?
of October, 20th of August. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, look at that.
They're all right.
And some of them, yeah. Then I just want to look at, because they've really been moving. If I can reach one, the cephalarias.
It sounds like a disease, doesn't it?
I've already made the STI joke about
Have you?
cephalary. Yeah, I made that in previous video.
It's like actia as well. That's like, you know, why would you change it from semicifuga to actia? What a stupid
Well,
name.
I've only ever known it as actia.
Have
So
you?
to me it's fine. Yeah.
It was one of the things that, you know, you could always say semicifuga, racemosa, atropoperia to customers and they were really impressed. Now you just say actia. Look at that.
Look at the cephalarias.
Oh, go on then. Let's have a look. Let's see the bottom.
Ah, I don't know whether there'll be a lot really.
Not that up.
Oh hey,
Oh, look.
look at that.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm good, aren't I? I
You're actually
am.
quite good, Tommy.
I am stupendous. If I do so myself.
Yeah, you have a lot of humility as well.
I do. I'm extremely
Modest.
modest. That is one of my main characteristics. My otherworldly modesty. And there's some leucanthemum.
Yeah, that's starting to
Read.
move.
There, just. Oh, yeah.
So most of this stuff we will have put on video, won't we, so that people can go back
Most
over
of this, there's some stuff I didn't bother. I can show people my turtle head.
Well, I am filming up your rear end at the moment because you bent over in front of me, so it's probably not a good idea.
And my turtle head.
There's your turtle head.
Somewhere to park your bike.
Yeah.
Again, roots. It's not a lot.
Can we give
But
it
it's
the proper
enough.
name? Can we give it the proper name rather than the common name?
Chelone obliqua.
Right.
See, a lot of these things, it's not a lot, but it's enough.
It's
I've had to say that too many times in my life.
Perhaps you'd be happy to say that at the moment.
It'll do. It'll do. Like the farmer off the film Babe. That'll do, pig. That'll do.
I've never seen the film. My father is 87 years old, I think, and he has never watched a film in his life. He ain't got the patience. He can't imagine things. He has had 5 wives. So, there you go.
I'm
Yeah,
quite surprised they were.
That
Phlomis.
looks like a Phlomis.
Yeah, Phlomis russelliana. I'd never done them like through nibs before.
No.
Well, it works.
Yeah.
Piece of piss.
Now I know people say, "Oh, you've got to do cuttings and things very technically with difficult cuttings and things." But if they work in a simplistic method, which we call nibbing, why not do them? It's just a form of division. You don't overthink things, do you?
That's a pissing plant, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Do you like figs? Have you ever actually put this one-
Pissing horrible.
I don't
I've
like
had
them.
them on top of a tree.
Oh God, look. That one's all soft.
Is that one right?
Yeah. Go on, you eat it.
No, I don't want to eat it.
Try it.
I was thinking it looks like Shrek's testicles.
You're a very sad young man.
It is uncannily bollock-like. It's a green bollock. Now, Doctor, I've got a problem.
Oh,
Hang on, am I biting this fig there? Or is it going
Yeah.
to turn out to be rotten?
No. Have a chew on it and see what it looks like. Go on. No, it's not rotten. That's what they look like.
Don't look a pain, doesn't it?
Get it down here. Go and stick it in your gob and have a taste. Just a little one.
Is that what the doctor sees when he puts his glove on? For your
Well,
Hockham?
just tell me what it's like.
For your MOT?
How was that? Was that enjoyable?
Pissing horrible. It's good for now. That plant should stay in the pissing Mediterranean where it lives. You don't want it. Brexit means Brexit.
I'm not sure what Brexit means anymore. Which is that?
Now the clouds of perfume.
God,
Yeah, even they've worked. Never done that. I've never done them before either.
This is a lovely evening. I can't believe we're going to get all this rain tomorrow. And wind and gales.
Hello, I thought I'd do a little video. I've not done one for a while. I am just doing some grafting. Here's my knife, it's very sharp. My dad taught me to graft when I was 12. Well, when I say taught me, he showed me how to graft, and then I think he realised it was a terrible idea to let me loose with a very, very sharp knife. So I learnt the last 3 or 4, since Dad died, so 2-3 years, I've been obviously Dad was the main grafter and Mum and Dad both main grafters, but Dad would sit here solely for 8 weeks and Mum would come and go and see the customers. Dad didn't like customers, so he was the main grafter. So now he's gone, it's down to Mum, but Mum also has to see the customers, so I'm learning so I can take off some of the pressure, because we need to. Anyway, so I'm doing some grafting, which the knife is becoming. Dad always said to make, this sounds really silly, but Dad always said to make it feel like it's part of you, which it's beginning to. And touch wood, I haven't cut myself. So I'm just grafting Satsuk Benny, which I will show you a bit. Lovely plant. Pretty green, big green leaves. So yeah, I've probably done about 100 grafts this year, over the last month, and the first ones I did were actually okay. Last year I only had 3 or 4 that took, but the first ones at the moment look okay. They've calloused up, which is good. But yeah, we just have to see. So hopefully I've done, and I did some last week, I did some yesterday, which I don't think are going to work because customers were coming in and out, and I was distracted. You've got to pay attention, not to cut yourself, and to make all your cuts right. I'm just grafting here, I think. Sorry, I keep looking at the wrong place. But yeah, it's very, once you get it, once you see one that you've grafted, callus over and take it, it's actually very rewarding. Sorry, I'm just getting another surrounder stock. Nice and wet. Good little root system. These are just Japanese maple, Acer palmatum seedlings, seeds that we picked last. I'm doing it quite high. Normally I'd rest it against myself. I'm doing it quite high so you can kind of see. It's quite a wonky one. But the wonk doesn't matter, because once the graft is taken, yeah, if it goes on there, once the graft is taken, you just cut that off and then it all blends in. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to go now because Matthew's coming and he'll think I'm talking to myself.
Yeah. Finally got your wish,
yeah,
to do some weeding after how many weeks of potting?
God knows. Too many.
Can't remember when you were back.
can't remember what date it was.
No, I can't remember I don't know what day it is half the time.
Yeah.
No, oh, they look better when now you've given them a bit of a weed. These are all the little dissectum seedlings.
Alice potted.
Alice potted these?
Yeah.
Oh, well done, Alice. Wow.
Well, they were dibbled in, weren't they, these?
That's right, yeah. Quite a lot of them. So, excuse me, the first year that we've had quite a lot of the seedlings come up as dissectums, so it's quite exciting to see if there's any different ones. I doubt there will be, but I did pick one out that was extremely pink. Not only the new growth, but the old growth as well. So hopefully it might be a nice bright pink one. Who knows? Ah, not too many weeds, hopefully.
Yeah.
You'll be in here till it gets too hot. I'll get you to do a bit of watering then.
Okey-doke.
Good.
Yeah, my fan's not working.
You what?
I've got a little hand fan for a minute. And
It's not working. Oh
I'm
god.
waiting for my other one to
You
turn.
can open that other door, you know. Do you want me to open it on the way out? No, that one.
Oh yeah, I've got to do that.
Yeah. I'll open it on the way out.
Half.
I better get propagating. Okay, see you later. A few layers of little conifers that are grafted. It was February, March, wasn't it, Matthew?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all ready now to go off to their new home for Thomas to polish and cherish. I wonder if he's like me. Sometimes I don't like parting with plants. Keep hold of them, grow them on for years, and then how dare people, they suddenly want to buy them. There we go. What does Laura say? Lovely little plants. It's when the hard work pays off, when you see them actually packed up and ready to go off out the gate.
It'll be 600 on there and stuff.
Good. All for Malcolm. Well, I'm still sat here grafting and my pile is getting taller and taller. It's not quite up to the top of the table yet, but it will be by the time I've finished. Just thought I'd like to show you the contrast between the new colour growth on some of the maples. This one is Autumn Moon. It's got the lovely yellow gold full leaf, a bit like the Orium, and the new growth, yes, it's gone off colour a bit now because it's it should be sort of like a buttery yellow.
I'm just picking my first lot of beetroot. There they are. Look at that. They're not massive, but they're hardly baby beets, so I'm quite happy with these. Yeah, excellent. In fact, I'm quite excited. I already get excited these days.
There's a blue pill for that.
I don't need a blue pill, I need a fucking splint. And these are the little cauliflowers. Yeah. There you go. Nothing's wasted because you're taking them leaves, aren't you?
Yep. Pigs will have them.
Look at that. There you go.
Smothering it in cheese and it's edible, eh?
Yeah, I wouldn't want it. Oh, I don't mind it on its own. But sprinkle a bit of nutmeg on it when it's boiled. and boil it with a bay leaf. That adds a bit of,
Flavour.
I wanted to be a chef. I can't tell you why my father wouldn't let me be a chef. Because it wouldn't be.
PC.
No, it wouldn't be PC. Well, I might do, but I'd have to use an un-PC word. if I quote him.
It won't be 2020.
No, no, no. Even if I quote him, I get into trouble.
Enjoying that, fatties? Yeah. So we've got licorice, curly, and the red one's pepper. What are you fighting over? Are you fighting all them mouldy courgette, are you? No waste for you lot around, is there? Bloody eat me if I stood still long enough. Right, I'll leave you to it, pigs. And if anyone's taking the piss about the names, my niece named them. And she's 3. So it's her fault if they sound stupid.
Now this is the finished lupin seed. It's been through my series of a series of sieves. We use them for separating out things. They're different grades of mesh, and we use them for, or I use them for screening out seeds from the chaff. So it's completely the wrong time of the year. I've got plenty of seeds, but what I'm going to do is just get some 9cm pots, and I will sow 3 seeds, and I'll just poke them in just about 1 centimetre. 1, 2, 3, and again just poke them in about 1 centimetre, or maybe a bit less, and then we'll just tap the pot, just top it off a little bit if need be, but really just tapping the pot is enough just to settle that down. Now my hope is that these will produce some lupins. I mean, all I'm doing is copying how they grow in the borders. Sometimes the seeds drop around now the last month or so, and then they germinate and they overwinter, and you get lovely young plants next year. If I leave them till the spring, the likelihood they won't flower in the pot. So there's just enough time to get an established little plant, hopefully, to overwinter. We have so much seeds we can afford to lose it for it not to work, and then we can always over sow again in the spring. But it's a good way of getting some young plants. We will see how it works. It's the first year I've really done it like this properly. I've just messed around with a few plants for home and for the borders, but I'm only going to do 100. The reason for sowing 3 is that I will thin out to 1. Lupin seed is notoriously hard skinned, but this is quite fresh, so we'll let, you know, if I sow 1, you've then got a non-runner if it doesn't work. If you sow 2, you've got a 50% chance of a non-runner. If I sow 3, it just reduces the chances. If 2 or 3 do grow up, we will just pull off 1 or 2. They don't transplant that well, lupins, so what we'll do is just thin them out. I will not thin out to the strongest seedling. I will do a few strong seedlings and 1 or 2 weaker ones and some mid-range ones. If you thin out, when you're looking for a range of colours, if you thin out to the strongest seedling every time, the likelihood is you will end up with similar colours. Not always true, but you by choosing different vigours of seedling, you're able to get a better range of colours. Now here's a nice helianthus called Lemon Queen. This is a perennial sunflower. Nice single flowers. Now it's usually loved by bees, like a lot of single flowers. There's another helianthus here, and this is slightly more magnificent, I suppose, because this is Helianthus Happy Days. It's a double flower. Now, one of the problems with double flowers is their stamens, or most of their stamens, are converted to petals. So they don't provide pollen or very little pollen to speak of. They maybe have a few stamens left. So you have to ask yourself, double flowers, yeah, they're fantastic. They look wonderful. They very often stay on in flower longer. But what is, you know, why are you growing plants? Is it for pollination? Or is it just for the beauty? If it's for pollination and for bees to get the pollen, I really do think that you need to be growing single flowers. However, a few double flowers in the garden won't hurt. You know, we have to look to beauty as well. But if we can benefit wildlife by growing more single flowers, then I think that's probably a good thing. Not everybody's aware of the reason why some flowers are double. It's a mutation, and the mutation is just a conversion of stamens into petals. Great news for the blousy gardener, not so good news for the bees. Now I've just been taking the moss off the top of this wall here. Not because I don't like the moss, I do, but there's a little propagation method I need to show you, and for that I need two things: moss and an attractive assistant, but I'll have to go and find Amanda, I suppose, because I haven't got one of the latter. Necessity is the mother of invention, they say.
Right, it's on. We're
Right,
ready.
excellent. Well, now that I've got necessity here, the Bella's just gone, but I think Helen's getting that. Now, we're going to show you an old-fashioned, very old-fashioned method of propagation for easy semi-ripe cuttings. Here I'm going to use osteospermums, like we've just done. Clara did them in compost earlier in the year. So what we want is an old compost bag. And what we're going to do is cut down it, and we're going to be about 5 or 6 inches wide. And we're going to just, you need to cut right through it. You're going to be impressed with this.
I know, I'm already excited. It looks like we're going to make bunting.
So, there, you want to use the white side. And this here is some of the moss that I was just recently filmed. We used to use, years ago, sphagnum moss. And you can't use that now. So this is just moss that's off the top of walls.
Why can't you use it now?
Because it's illegal. You can't
So when's
lift
that ever
it.
stopped you?
Yeah. And we're just going to run this along here. We want a nice thick layer. Well, we want to keep about 1 inch at the bottom clear. So we're just going to spread it all the way along there. This is a very good method of rooting subjects if you haven't got a lot of space. I did this many years ago for Gardener's World, and this and dropping, which we did the other week.
Yeah, I like dropping.
Yeah. Okay, so there we go.
Brilliant.
Here are our osteospermum cuttings. These are just non-flowering shoots of osteospermum. We just pull the leaves off, strip them right down. Amanda was just telling me she's got a bite. Where's your bite, Amanda?
I don't want to talk about it, Malcolm. I was confiding in you.
So, what we're going to do is put these. Really, I should use some rooting powder.
Where have you gone?
Oh, there we are. Not much. I'm just going to put these in there.
How's that different to hormone powder?
It is hormone powder.
Oh.
It's just a very quick way of doing it. And then what we're going to do is put these on here. We want about an inch, half an inch of the cut-in above the moss surface. And just lay them down, lay them down. The Victorians used this method a lot because it was space saving. They also used it when plant collectors used it for collecting plants out of the wild. I really don't use it that often.
I don't know what osteospermum are.
Do you not?
No.
Well, it's not sperm with osteoarthritis. Doing the backstroke. It is actually it's actually a type of daisy. It's a South African plant.
I thought it was a daisy.
This is them, and it stinks. Can you have a sniff?
Oh gosh, that is quite pungent.
Yeah.
I'm glad you explained what that was. I thought for a moment it was you.
No, not today. Anyway, I'm trying to refine my habits after what you've been telling me.
Yeah, well, it's time somebody did.
Yeah, there we go, around that. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to come around the other side of you now.
Alright.
And then you just take your roll, like this.
It's like making a Swiss roll.
Yeah, it's exactly what it's like. And we're just going to roll it and roll it. And what you need to do is just tuck that up. Make a little sort of hem, if you like, if you can. That'll just keep some of the moisture in when we water them. I never did the first bit because you also need a bit of drainage, but this is how you just roll it. Keep it going.
That's amazing. You said I'd be interested in that, and I doubted it, but I am.
Well, it's very good if you haven't got a lot of space in your propagator, or you've only got a very tiny glass house or cold frame. Is this getting boring now?
No, not remotely boring. In fact, I've seldom been this interested in anything.
Ah, God. That's
But I am quite
exhilarating.
limited.
Right.
What's in your glass?
I'm doing the Barbara Clarkland. I'm drinking my own urine.
Oh, gross. Was that Barbara Cartman?
Yeah, I think she did.
I thought it
think
was
she
Bear Grylls.
No, I think it was Barbara Cartland. She used to put her longevity down and her writing prowess down to drinking her own urine. I think it was.
Was it really?
Is it urine or urine?
Urine.
Oh.
I would say urine, but
Well,
I'm surprised you're using the proper word for it at all. I thought it was a Bear
I
Grylls.
told you I'm cleaning up my act.
Good, good. It's nice
So-
to see a reformed character.
Yeah. Now, I'm just going to tie this off. We're going to put 2 of these ties around, keep them.
What was
I
that?
wasn't. That. It wasn't you, was it?
Please don't do it again. Could somebody open a window?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just going to put another one round here. And we'll have another look at these in about 4 or 5 weeks' time. It is the string. I promise you it's the string.
I'm just backing off a little. I think we can see it from here perfectly well.
So, there we go. Now you would put those in a little propagator or something as as you would find. The reason I use the black is because the black absorbs heat,
Right.
whereas the white will reflect it, and the absorption will keep that nice and moist. They used to use waxed paper because they didn't have plastics in the old days.
Yeah.
Waxed paper, like you posh people use on your sandwiches now.
I gave you some of that,
I
Malcolm.
know you did.
I hope you're using it.
I haven't yet. But then I get
It was only a year ago.
my sandwiches come from Morrison's and they've already got a packet on.
See, shame on you. Shame on you. So
There you are.
how do you water it?
It's a
Can I
moss roll.
just
You
ask?
just here. I'll show you. I'm just going to soak that. You give it a good soak. Most days you can't overwater it, so you just keep it evenly moist.
That's what we like.
And then here I've got alpine cuttings and clematis cuttings I've been doing, but I haven't actually prepared anywhere to put it, so I found a little.
Would you like the viewers to send in suggestions where you should put it?
You could lay it down like that if you wanted. No, I'll put it in a crate like this and put some shade netting over it. That's all that's. Oh, here we are. Here's an old one here. These are. This is just an old crate, and we tie a bit of shade netting with a bit of wood through it. So we've got a bit of plastic paper over there. And then just hang that over there. That keeps it shaded and keeps some of the moisture in.
Brilliant. Job's a good one.
Now here's the thing. Now Clara bought us these lovely chocolates and for giving her a little birthday party. Very, very nice. But look at this. Look. Some fucker has had half of that one. Probably decided didn't like it. Look, there's fucking teeth marks in it. Look at that. Look at that. Had a bloody bite out of it. I'm going to put a bloody biscuit trap in here. Weren't you, was it? Bastard.